Greetings, folks. My name is Zach Borden, and welcome to part 2 in a series on beginning improvisation. In part 1, I suggested that when you're first starting to improvise, you may not want to think quite so much about what you're playing. Do I play the G scale? Do I play pentatonic? Do I play blues? But rather just stick with a basic melody that you're working with and understand how long you have to play a given measure, how long is the rhythm, and what the deadline is, right? So the example I used in part 1 was 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and you're done, right? We're going to keep that same basic idea, and we're going to end on G this time. We're going to play G scale. So that's the melodic information we're working with. This assumes you know a G scale, G major scale, and you're ending on that note. And so that's the only rule. You're going to loop that over and over again, and you're going to create little lines, improvisatory lines, just for fun. And the only rules are that you're going to play 1, 2, 3, and you're done. Well, we kind of already did that in part 1, and the problem you're going to run into probably is, yeah, but that doesn't really guarantee that I'm going to play something that's melodically succinct, right? Because a lot of times when I, prescribe this to students, it's really fun to watch them try and pull it off, but a lot of times, they'll get up to like an A note, and they're way up there, and they're having a lot of fun, and they're almost ready to get back to G, but they're way up here, and then they have to jump. And it doesn't really warn the listener, that you're going to end your phrase, right? So you got your deadline, but now you have this problem of getting lost. So what we're going to do here in part 1 is just suggest that you use this little kind of cheater technique of always playing, no matter what, you play the half step right before the tonic, which is just the leading tone, right? So in this case, that's F sharp. It's just a half step. And what that does is it just warns the listener that you're about to finish your phrase. Okay, so that's it for part 2. And I'm just going to show you a bunch of examples of this and show how effective it is to play just that. That's all the melodic information that I'm saying you have to stick with. Even if you get really jazzy and play a bunch of wrong notes, you can always save yourself by warning the listener that you're resolving back to the tonic. Okay, so here it goes. Okay, so notice how I kind of goofed off, but I always came back to here. And so what if I end up here? See what happened? It didn't sound, great. I mean, it was a little jagged, but even though I was way up here, all I had to do was play that F sharp to warn the listener that I was returning. Right? So even if I'm on B. Okay, and it even can sound kind of interesting if you go from way up here, as long as you play that half step right beforehand, then you're good. Okay, and that's just kind of a little trick. And so notice that as we kind of start going through these ideas, I'm going to start adding a few more little tricks and devices, and hopefully you'll have a lot of just little tricks and tools that will keep you focused when you improvise, and still hopefully have a lot of freedom and to goof around. Okay, so have fun with these. One last thing I'll say is that this leading tone concept works for other places in the scale too. So say you want to end with a B note. Right, and that's your little phrase, and you end up, and this is your deadline, right? You can play the note right before that, and it'll sound, right? And that might also give you some cool ideas, right? So we're kind of like, it's kind of a fun, it's almost like you're opening an advent calendar, it's like, ooh, chocolate, there's a little treat, I don't know what's in it, or opening a box of chocolates, right? So you get And by having that rule set, it's almost like you can surprise yourself and come up with some really cool ideas because you just have this one little rule that will always come out sounding pretty decent. Okay, so have fun with those and play with the leading tone before any target note. But I think for now, just keep it super simple and maybe work with G or the tonic of any key that you're in. And have fun with that. My name is Zach Borden. Check out my website and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in part 3. Cheers.